It's Thursday, March 16th, 2023, and this is the Talk Film Society podcast. I am your host, Marcelo, editor-in-chief of Talk Film Society, here on the series finale of this award season 2022 series that me and my co-host have been doing since December, early December. Now we've reached the end, and here is my co-host, who's been along with me for about 15 weeks or so. It's Marcus Irving. Hello, Marcus.
We did it.
We did it.
We finally did it. We're here. It's over. It's about to be over.
It's done.
we just got to talk for, 3 hours and then we're fucking done.
I said off mic, it's at least an hour's worth of conversation that we're going to have now. Will we go beyond that? Stay tuned to find out, folks. Or look down at your pod machine to see how long this episode is. Mm-hmm. I know Marcus has been sneakily wanting to make these episodes longer and longer. I know I know his plan. I know what he wants.
Not today, buddy.
Not today.
I'm ready for this to be done.
For many reasons. So okay, we both want it to be done. It's Oscars' biggest night. It's the night after the Oscars. It's Monday. I'm tired. Marcus, I think, is also not in the best shape or mood.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, and I can say the same. I mean, I'm not 100%, but we're here to do it, folks. We're gonna give you one more episode, and then we're calling it quits. This is it. Okay.
Yep.
Because all we have to talk about now is the Oscars.
Yep. Yeah, we're done.
We're done.
That's it.
This is it.
I hope you can hear the smile on my face. The goosebumps that I have.
It's out of character because last episode you started the episode by saying you were sad that this was going to end, but now you're excited.
But now that I'm finally faced with that reality, I'm starting to see how good it is.
Yes. Having not to record every week to talk about the same 5 movies over and over.
I'd rather record every week to talk about the same single movie over and over.
One movie
for multiple years.
Well, we'll talk about that off mic. In depth, off mic. But that's later. But for now, it's the night after the Oscars that we're recording this. And really, by the time this episode's released on Thursday, I mean, I'm already out the door when it comes to the year 2022 in terms of movies. It was a great year, I think. I've talked about it for the last 14 episodes. But yes, great year for movies. The Oscars.
A banner year for horror films.
Hey, Marcus, would you consider 2022 a banner year for horror?
Yeah, that's what I was just saying. I do think it was a banner year for horror films.
Yeah, good. I'm glad you said it, and I'm glad I reiterated it by asking you the same question. Marcus, why don't we talk about our weekend leading up to the Oscars?
Yeah.
Okay?
Okay.
Why don't you go first?
Yeah, so my weekend, I didn't... I was excited. I was like, this is it. I like to watch the Oscars, or at least I trick myself every year into thinking that I like to watch the Oscars.
As we all do.
Yeah. And I'd say slow. I got my plan together. I got some snacks. We're going to do this. And that was my Saturday, basically, planning for the Oscars. And then Sunday, I forgot I had other things to do. And I ended up having to play a video game the entire day because I'd already a new raid had dropped in Destiny 2, and I'd already agreed to do it months ago. Yeah, I'm sorry for this nerd talk. I'd already agreed to do this a month ago or so, not realizing that this happened on the same day as the Oscars, and I was like, shit. And that took up my entire day doing that. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. But then we got done around 6, and then I got ready for. I went to do a small amount of getting ready for the awards, getting my snacks together. And then I actually watched the Academy Awards.
Whoa! And okay, we're gonna pause there.
Promptly to bed.
Right after the awards. Even though right after the awards, you DM'd me saying you're ready to record. And hey,
I thought I was not. I would not have done it. I was in my bed, ready to sleep.
Marcus, if
trying to be a little goofball.
I know, but if I were home, I would have said, buddy, I'm going to call your bluff. We're doing it. I would have forced you to get out of bed and record the episode last night. But no, I wasn't here in my apartment last night for the Oscars. My story is, I mean, this weekend was packed. Not only is South by Southwest happening here in Austin, which I'm gladly not a part of this year. Because imagine if I had to do all this plus go to South by this year. No, thank you. So I went to our mutual friend Sarah Sorrentino's birthday party over the weekend. Had a nice time there on Saturday, and then right after that, I drove to my hometown. Spent time with my family, and took my my sister, my mom, and my sister's two kids, two of four kids. We all went to go see Scream 6 on Sunday. We had a nice time. My sister and her daughter, big fans of the Scream movies, which makes me so happy. And my nephew just came along just to come along. Maybe a bit too young to watch a Scream 6, but whatever. And then we went to a fancy theater. So it was like about an hour drive from my hometown. So after the movie, I raced back, and I had to explain, listen, you know how weird I am. I got to see the Oscars, and it starts at 7, and we're going to get there just in time. So I got back to my mom's house right in time for the Oscars, and that's where I watched the Oscars, my childhood home.
Wow, just like you did when you were a boy, right?
Yeah, the same living room where I saw Titanic's sweep
wow.
of the Oscars in 1998. So yeah, back to where it all began. And then my mom promptly fell asleep about 30 minutes into the ceremony, which is me by myself watching the whole thing. But yeah, so that's okay. So that's us up to the Oscars ceremony. So I guess let's just get into it. Let's just get into this thing. Let's unwrap it. Okay.
Yeah.
The Oscars. And look,
the Oscars, yeah.
Let me start by saying this. And this kind of will summarize the whole thing for me. Last night and today, all the hot takes, all the reactions, all the feelings that I had, that everybody had, all these mixed emotions, that's pretty much what I expect from the Oscars. Okay? People were angry. People were happy. I mean, has there been... I mean, I guess 2019 was the last year. Mostly everybody was happy with a movie winning Best Picture, right? Parasite. Mostly everybody loved Parasite.
I can't remember too much dissent from that one at all.
Yeah. And then, every other Best Picture winner, there's always been like a group that comes out and just says, hey, Oscars are terrible. This is a lousy pick. And it's no different this year. But hey, like I said in past episodes, I enjoyed the Best Picture winner this year, but I can see why people would be upset. Because, as we'll talk about, two movies dominated the field this year with the Oscars?
Yeah.
And
largely,
three of the Best Pictures of the year got 0 wins. Which I can see if you're... Hey, I know somebody who loves Banshees of Inisherin, and I may be talking to somebody right now, but I know somebody else who loves that movie too. It's their number one of the year. But it got nothing, and I can see why, that would be upsetting. But hey, I guess my point is, it's the Oscars.
It's the Oscars.
It wouldn't be the Oscars if I wasn't just pissed. And I got pissed halfway through the Oscars because of a few things. But yeah, that's how I feel, Marcus. Overall, I'm excited for the big wins, which we'll talk about, but there are things that still piss me off about the Oscars. So that's my feeling. Do you want to do a general thought on the Oscars, Marcus?
I would say generally as the night kept going on, yeah, I was like mildly enjoying the show at the beginning. I was like, okay, this is fine. Jimmy Kimmel. I was chuckling a bit, and slowly as the night went on, I kind of started to think about it more, kind of get in my head a bit, kind of start to go, what's going on here? Like, do I really care about this? And I think by the end of the night, my conclusion was no. And I immediately wanted to stop thinking about it, I think. And then this entire day happened where I was just trying to avoid all aspects of talking about it. I don't care. I really do not care. Like, there's a film I feel passionately about that won Best Picture, and I don't care that it won Best Picture, really. These things that I've built up in my head for weeks, they've come, and I cannot wait for them to go.
And, buddy, I can't wait either. For different reasons. Because, okay, again, I'll say, hey, I've been watching the Oscars since the Titanic year, 1998, right? And rarely have I missed one. And I'm going to keep watching the Oscars. There's no way I'm going to stop. But am I again reminded? Well, I was reminded, just even like last year, when I'm like, oh, I see the potential of like a favorite movie of mine from last year winning Best Picture, and it doesn't. And then something like Coda wins, which Coda is fine. Coda is an okay movie, but in my opinion, is it Best Picture worthy? No. It's fine. It's good, right?
Yeah.
But that's happened most of the time with the Oscars. And I've learned to accept it. And it's sometimes, in my opinion, they get it right. But even then, in the overall scope of things, and I'll just emphasize this, I still love the pageantry. I still love the ceremony itself. It is Hollywood going up its own ass, but I still enjoy it for the most part. But the actual the snubs and flubs, in all seriousness, like when a movie like All Quiet on the Western Front picks up so many awards, and I made this point on Twitter, which I don't, unfollow me on Twitter, folks. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I made this point on Twitter. If a movie like All Quiet on the Western Front can still pick up so many awards, when in my opinion it doesn't deserve it, then I still am reminded, like, oh, this voting body is still just so stuck in its ways. And it can't even. Boring. It is boring. It's so boring. It can't even nominate a movie, in my opinion, that does the war genre better in a more innovative way, in a way we've never seen before. The movie I'm talking about is The Woman King. That got no nominations when I think it should have gotten so many more nominations than 0. And it should have picked up those awards that a movie like All Quiet on the Western Front eventually picked up. So that got me. That's what got me angry. Halfway through the Oscars. But hey, again, like we said at the beginning of the series, this, I'm not talking for you. Maybe you can just piggyback on this, Marcus. This is my sport that I watch. Okay, and I do admit it's a ridiculous thing to say it's a sport. This whole like who's the best at this, whatever. It's all objective. I can still separate like the Oscars from like just subjective. Movie watching. Or subjective, whatever. Yeah, it's subjective, right? And but I can still separate.
It is a different thing than general movie watching. I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like you can, you can very clearly draw a line, or like draw lines between what are my favorite movies going to be, what are critics' favorite movies going to be, what are my friends' favorite movies going to be, what are the people who have power, what are their favorite movies going to be, or whatever. And it all does feel like different things. All of them are interesting in their own way, I guess. Man, when I say like I was ready for it to be done and I stopped caring, it was probably like an hour or two into the show where I was like, you know what was a better award show than this and actually kind of made me happy for the most part, and I thought they really did it all right, was the SAG Awards, which I saw.
Yeah.
multiple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I was just like, well, this feels so redundant and worse. Why are they doing this now? I've never really given much thought to what people have said for years, which is award season should be dramatically shortened. And I fucking agree now. Like I get it. Like I fully get it.
See, I was telling you this like 2 weeks ago. I was saying, Marcus, don't you want this to be over? And then and what I really would love, and this isn't on, I guess, us as people, and don't blame me, Marcus, with with this. I just had an idea. It's like, hey, let's do this. It'll be fun. We'll cover the award season through the Oscars. But in reality, like what I after all this, I'm like, yeah, I'm with you, Marcus. Like they should really shorten this, like in half. Cut this in half.
I'm just like this is your grand finale, and I was just like feeling so empty by the end of it, and today too, because I have invested so much time into thinking about this bullshit. So that's probably why I was kind of down all day. Like that was it. What have I been doing?
So you've had an existential crisis because of the Oscars and this show that we've been doing for 14 weeks. Mission accomplished on my end. This was my master plan. But no, I don't know. Listen. It's not the Oscars if I can't just be conflicted about the whole thing. Again, I love it. I love a lot of aspects of it, but I also think it's ridiculous. Okay, why don't we jump into the actual ceremony? Okay. Point number one: Jimmy Kimmel,
live from the Dolby Theater.
Which, hey, I saw Scream 6 in a Dolby cinema this weekend. A great experience. So Dolby does great work.
The sound of the knife coming out.
Yeah.
Oof. Chilling.
What else was, do you know what else was chilling? Jimmy Kimmel's.
Sydney.
Hey.
Not Sydney. Hey,
Samantha.
Courtney Cox. Samantha.
Yeah, that's the lead actress.
Hey, Samara Weaving.
God, what's that guy's name? Dermot Mulroney. What's his name? I think
that's right.
I saw this movie over the weekend and I can't remember his name. He goes, "Hey, what's your favorite Oscar winner?" Imagine if Ghostface just was obsessed with the Oscars.
That's a sketch I think we should write.
Yeah, let's. You know what? Well, why don't we do it now and I'll just cut it and put it in the beginning. All right. I'm not actually going to cut it. I'm just going to leave it in there.
And we just did it. So no. Go back to the beginning if you want to hear it again.
You okay? I'll be Ghostface. You play Marcus. All right?
God damn it! I don't want to do this. Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy Kimmel hosted the Oscars Academy Awards.
He was
for like his fourth time or something.
Yeah, listen, it wasn't as bad as that one year when he like just that the worst, one of the worst things I've ever seen at the Oscars was when Jimmy Kimmel was hosting. This is maybe 4 years ago, and he did just the longest bit where he bussed in like tourists and do you remember this? It was like 2018, yes. Right?
Yes,
and
I do.
It was like a 20-minute long like bit where he brought in these real people and brought them into the Dolby Theater, and there was like no payoff. Like there was nothing. I hated that. And luckily there was only like one moment that mimicked that I thought, Jesus, why is this happening?
Really no big stunts this year, which I gotta give it up for that. You don't need it. That shit sucks every time. And yeah, there's like one moment I'm thinking of. Yeah. I'm assuming we're thinking the same thing, where he's like walking around talking to people.
Yeah, that was the worst moment in my life. I'm not being hyperbolic here.
If that's as bad as it gets, fine. Have one of those if you really fucking need to do it, I guess.
Yeah.
But
you don't need it. It's not necessary.
You don't need it.
At all. It adds nothing to the show. Nobody's having fun. I saw a video of like somebody like freeze framing Nicole Kidman's face during this whole thing, and like she mouthed like just I assume she said, "This motherfucker." Like just like get him out of here. And he did that one stupid joke that is maybe the worst thing I've ever heard. Is he said something Malala Land. Fuck that guy.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, but that
Clever
was like
stuff.
Yeah, that
had
was
to come on the heels of shutting down the visual effects people from talking for more than 12 seconds.
Yeah, that was another continuing bad aspect of the show. That they couldn't just wait. And by the way, I did see pretty much every single acceptance speech again today before recording, just so I could have it in my brain. And yeah, the running theme is whoever's the producer of the Oscars this year gave no seconds after the first person who was accepting the award, after they said, okay, that's my time. And then somebody else comes in. There's no pause there. The producer just goes, all right, cut. Let's get out of here. Like, if a second person wanted to talk in the below-the-line categories, they couldn't. Because like they immediately cut away, which is insane to me.
Yeah.
Like they can't just wait another like 2 seconds for somebody else to talk. It's frustrating. It is dumb, and now 95 years in, they can't figure that out. And the show was as long as last year. It was 3 hours and 40 minutes. So they didn't cut it down at all. It's the same length as last year's ceremony. And they cut out 2 fucking awards last year, right? Or however many they cut out.
From the they cut out. They did them during the credits during the commercials, and then like re-edited them in later shorter.
Yeah, that's what they did last year. Yeah,
terrible.
Yeah,
I like that. This year overall felt less jokey. It felt like they were giving a little bit more credence to the idea of the awards. Like they weren't trying to shit talk the awards and make fun of them.
I'll give Kimmel credit. I didn't completely hate his monologue and most of his jokes. Well, it's like 50-50. I'm split on Kimmel as a host because he didn't like bang the drum of like what you're saying. It's like oh, woman talking, who saw that, which I totally expected him to say. But he was the knives were not out as much as I thought they'd be for like the smaller indie movies coming from from Kimmel. But also like I don't know, I just don't like Kimmel overall as a presenter, as a comedian. So overall I give him like a C-. All right, I guess it's barely passing. Marcus, what letter grade would you give Jimmy Kimmel?
C+.
Okay, all right.
I can't disagree with you. I can't say he did anything that extraordinary, but was he bad? No,
he wasn't bad. It was fine. All right. How about this? I did enjoy most of the banter between the presenters, who mostly came in pairs, which is pretty cool. I like how they handled the best actor, actress, and best supporting actor, supporting actress.
I did too.
Presentation, because of course it was all going to be screwy because one of the winners from last year couldn't make it for some reason to this year's presentation.
Flight got delayed.
Yeah, flight got delayed. But I mean, the tradition is like last year's winner, of the opposite gender gives the award. Like usually it's like last winner for best actress presents this year's best actor, right? Of course they couldn't do that, so I like how they handled that. But I guess my point is like overall those like little like back and forth between like the presenters, good, right? And I learned this past year that people who write Kimmel's jokes or the host's jokes are separate from the people who write the presenters' jokes. So I give all credit to whoever wrote all the presenters' jokes because like those are much better than I think Kimmel's jokes. Which
group is Bruce Vilanch in? Do you think?
I'm gonna put him in the I think he was in the Cocaine Bear outfit. I think that's all he did this year. Yeah.
That bit was good.
That bit was good. Another presenter that I thought really worked. I rewatched earlier Paul Dano and Julia Louis-Dreyfus's bit. That was pretty cool. Not cool, but funny. I don't necessarily want to call it
That was so cool, dude.
That's so awesome.
That was fucking rad.
I mean, even the most ridiculous ones with like best editing, and they had a woman like dressed up as like an editor from like the 20s, like physically edit, film in the background as like Sigourney Weaver, and like I forget who else is like presenting the best editing award. As corny as that is, as corny as it looks on screen, I think that shit is fine. Do something creative in the background. And when they were handing out best costume, they had like the costumes from all the movies in the background. So okay, so I enjoy the presenters, banter, and all that stuff. We don't do letter grades. We've never done letter grades, so I'm just gonna keep this bit up for this episode. I'm gonna give that a B+. The presenters banter. Marcus, what letter grade would you give it?
I'll give it a B-. I
Okay.
thought it was definitely above Jimmy Kimmel.
Okay, fair enough.
I agree with you.
All right.
But I'm as in love with it as you are. Apparently, that you like. If you're so in love with it, why don't you marry it?
I would if I could. No. Okay, but okay. Going back to your point, which I agree with, the SAG Awards. I think the SAG Awards did it much better than the Oscars because they cut all the fat out of award shows. The stuff I love about these award shows is basically all they kept in the SAG Awards, and the stuff I hate about award shows they left in the Oscars. Let's talk about this: the montages. Okay, and we're gonna add in the in memoriam here too.
Oh, okay, yeah. There's things to say about the in memoriam.
Let's talk about the montages overall first. Okay, I know what the point is in terms of like money and Hollywood, and the fact that the Oscars, yes, it's a contradiction. It's like, yes, we're awarding the best in these respective fields, but also, folks, you know why we're here. We're here to sell you things. Like it's a popularity contest. Yes, we're going to show an ad for Disney's 100th anniversary. Yes, we're going to show an ad for Warner Brothers' 100th anniversary, and just call them like a tribute to these studios celebrating their.
They brought us so much magic over the years.
Their what's the 100th anniversary called? Like the centennial, right? Yeah. I don't. Usually there are montages at the Oscars that are good. That's a great sentence, Marcelo. But this year, I can't think of any montage this year that really, rose to the level of like what I consider great montages in Oscars past.
I agree. Nothing.
So overall, those montages, which I think that was it, right? The Warner Brothers one and the Disney one.
Yeah, and both of them happened within like the first half hour of the ceremony. So I was thinking, okay, they'll probably keep this up throughout the night. There'll be like a Universal and, not Fox.
Paramount.
Whatever's still around. A24. And
A24 celebrating their 10th anniversary this year. They should have had a 10th anniversary
why not?
Montage.
And to 90 more years. And so I was expecting that, but I guess no, they just happened up front because they want to get it in when people are still watching the show. that's why.
Before The Last of Us started. It's like let's get this in the 7 p.m. hour, because by 8 p.m. everybody's gone. Okay, let's just get into the in memoriam. Oh wait, those montages, grade. I'm gonna give that. What's
F? Flat out F.
What's right above an F? Is that C?
D-?
D?
Yeah.
Since I'm a gracious guy. I mean, Marcus, you know me. I'm mostly a positive fellow, right?
Of course.
I love movies that people don't like. Sometimes, right? I love Halloween.
Sometimes, of course. And you're unique in that way.
If somebody says, "Hey, Halloween Kills is terrible," I'm gonna go in and say, "You know what? I liked it. I liked it so much. I'll put that in my top 10 list of the year.
You're a real edgelord.
Featuring Academy Award winner Jamie Lee Curtis. Halloween Kills, fantastic movie. Now, saying all that, I'm mostly positive. Yeah, I also give that the montages an F. So fuck those montages. Oscars, you can do better. I've seen you do better. It just felt so gimmicky, and not gimmicky. It's Craven. We should add this to the montages. Fucking Little Mermaid. Probably the worst moment in my life ever. I'm not being hyperbolic here. And yes, I understand. It's ABC. They're owned by Disney. They can do whatever the hell they want with their properties, but don't force me to watch a commercial for the Little Mermaid live action remake that looks bad. That I'm gonna just try to. So bad, I'm gonna try to avoid it. Like the. I was gonna say the plague. That's I shouldn't say that anymore. Let's not say that anymore as a culture. Let's not say avoid like the plague. It has bad connotations now. Don't you agree?
Avoid like COVID-19.
You know what? Thank you. Let's avoid. I'm gonna avoid the Little Mermaid like the novel coronavirus. It's bad, and they had Melissa McCarthy, and I forget the Little Mermaid's name. That actress. I'm sure she's great, but they had him come out and present it to everybody, and I did not like it. I'll say this. I did enjoy though, like some of the commercials had previews for, like, there was an Oppenheimer like a preview that looked pretty cool, and that had some footage I hadn't seen before.
I must have missed that one.
Yeah,
damn it.
I forget what else they should, but yeah, keep those in the commercials. It's like somebody made a good point on Twitter. They should, in the commercials, not during the fucking ceremony, in the commercials, just do like the Super Bowl, like have like some previews to movies coming out this summer. They kind of did that when Oscars, like 6 years ago, where at the end of the show they had like a little montage of like coming soon to theaters, all these movies. But they should do more of that. But again, not during the ceremony. Which I'm happy now that I gave the montages an F. So I'm including that, the Little Mermaid preview. No, thank you. Any thoughts on that? I mean, the Little Mermaid, Marcus, are you excited for that? No? Okay.
No, I'm not. It looked very bad. Her singing was good. Like,
she's good. Yeah.
The part of your world or whatever that she's saying, I legitimately did think it was very good. But the visual style of that movie looks so disgusting to me. It like off-putting. And when she comes out of the water onto that rock, that should be like a breathtaking moment.
Yeah.
And it looks so fucking dead. I don't understand why they went with that. I don't get it.
It makes little sense to me, and I'm trying to find
something I don't understand about why they did what they did. In memoriam.
Wait, I want to give a shout out to Halle Bailey, the star of the Little Mermaid.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Again,
I should have known that.
She's Marcus. I had to look it up just to confirm. Again, I'm not hating on her. I like Melissa McCarthy. I don't like her Hotels.com commercial, whatever the hell she did. It's like that was bad during the Oscars. They had her singing, and her husband showed up at the end of that commercial. Other than that, I do like Melissa McCarthy. I think Halle Bailey looks and sounds amazing, but the movie itself, bad. All right, speaking of bad, In Memoriam. Marcus, take it away.
This is the one thing that I remain mad at about the ceremony. Other things I can get over, I got over really quickly if I did care about them at all. This I'm kind of still mad about, where they cut the fuck out of the In Memoriam segment, which is supposed to honor the lives of those who committed significant parts of their lives to the arts, to entertainment as a medium, film at least. And yeah, it was presented very nicely by John Travolta. It had that sweet little moment.
Yes.
We're talking a reference to Olivia Newton-John, and then it started out with Olivia Newton-John and hopelessly devoted to you. That's what he said.
Yeah.
And that was nice. And then Lenny Kravitz was singing, and I thought Lenny Kravitz singing was okay. It was fine. And then like, I don't know, a third, like, as it's going, I'm like, this just doesn't feel like they're showing a lot of people here that like anybody knows. And then it just like suddenly feels like it cut off. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, sure, I know more people died than this. I watched the SAG Awards, which was very comprehensive there in memoriam, and the whole time I'm going like, what the hell? That person died?
Yeah.
And then it cuts to, if you want to see more dead people, scan our QR code to go to a website and see a bigger in memoriam list.
Now I'm going to say this. I did just like zone out by the end of it, because I was like, okay. My overall first impression of that in memoriam was like, yeah, it felt like there was something missing in it, and then I just like did something else as soon as it was over. So I missed the QR code stuff until a lot of people pointed it out on Twitter, and I'm like, really? And I'm like, okay, that's no surprise. It's shitty because, and I think you also shared this on Twitter. I saw somebody make a thread of everybody who was missing.
Yeah. I've got that thread pulled up.
Yeah. We can go through some of them because it's insane when you realize, Anne Heche wasn't in the In Memoriam segment.
Anne Heche, Oscar nominee.
Yeah.
Star of a Best Picture nominee, Triangle of Sadness, Charles D. Dean.
Yes, she
passed away in December.
Yeah.
Apparently not enough. The star of your Best Picture Best Picture nominee.
She is
the star,
like a co-lead in Triangle of Sadness. Not worthy of being in the. Hey, scan that QR code if you want to see her.
Scan the QR code. Come to our fucking website.
Yeah.
Maybe while you're there, click the little advertising links we've got around. Give us some cash.
Paul Sorvino, not in the In Memoriam. Fantastic
Paul
character.
Paul Sorvino, yeah.
In Goodfellas. Come on.
Mira Sorvino being pissed about that.
Yeah, and
Fred Ward.
I think, by the way, she shared an article that pretty much was like, yeah, he should have been in the In Memoriam. I saw that on Twitter.
Hey, you're goddamn right he should have been.
Yeah.
Fred Ward,
incredible. Incredible because I knew he passed away, but I didn't realize it was this past year. I'm like, what? Really? And I'm not joking when I say this. A legit like star. He starred in Tremors, for God's sakes. That alone makes you worthy of an in memoriam. Okay. Anyway, when you want to talk about the magic of cinema, you have to talk about all aspects of it. The fact that Albert Pune wasn't highlighted, who passed away last year, who is still at this point like not as revered as he should be as a low budget independent filmmaker. Like he made like some hits. He should be recognized, but nope. Academy was like, nope. You know what? We're not going to recognize that. So sorry, Albert Pune. Rest in peace.
Star of one of my favorite movies ever, Assault on Precinct 13, Austin Stoker. Nope, not worthy. Fucking, it's on ABC. It's on a Disney-owned thing. They had an ad for The Little Mermaid. The voice of Iago, the fucking parrot from Aladdin, Gilbert Gottfried.
Yeah,
certainly a huge name in film and comedy and all that. Yeah, not big, not enough. No.
A big one, in my opinion, that feels like very old Hollywood and should have been recognized. Robert Morse, who you may know as Don Draper's boss on Mad Men, but who also starred in How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying. Which I like that. I mean, if you don't know what that movie is, I recently learned about that. which I'm like, really? Because I got excited because I've never seen that movie. I've never seen How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying. But my girlfriend was like, oh, like, did you know that Don Draper's boss was in this and he sings and dances in it? I'm like, oh, that's amazing. And I know that's a well-known movie, musical, How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying. And the fact that he wasn't recognized, insane. But again, okay, so...
No, I got one more.
Okay,
this
one more.
Name, when it showed up in the thread, I screamed out loud when I read this name. Philip Baker Hall.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. Philip fucking Baker Hall. Who, if you don't know who that is, then you haven't seen enough movies or TV.
Unbelievable. Yeah. Unfucking believable.
God damn it. But hey, I'm sure these names would have popped up if you scan the QR code. So that's a big F. Oh, hold on. I'll say this. I don't know if they've done this before. So if they did, then I wasn't paying attention. But in the in memoriam at the Oscars, for every name that showed up, if they had won an Oscar before, a little Oscar icon was right next to their name. Which I'm like, have they ever done that before? Again, if they did, then I'm sorry. I don't know what I'm talking about. But, like, I thought that was weird, right? It's like, hey, no Oscar by this guy's name. He didn't win. Who cares?
I've never noticed that. I didn't notice it.
But I noticed it this year, and I'm just like, that feels odd to me. I understand recognizing Oscar winners, but how do I say this in the best way possible? It's like, it shouldn't matter by that point if you're passed away, if you won an Oscar or not. I know it's the Oscars. I know they want to recognize past winners.
This is on the in memoriam they had that?
Yeah. I swear.
Oh, I thought you were talking about when they were going through the nominees or something.
No,
in memoriam, they had a little Oscar to show that they had won an Oscar.
Yes. Again,
are you fucking kidding me?
Let me reiterate. Yes, in the in memoriam.
Oh my God.
When they showed each person's name, some of them had little Oscars by them, some of them didn't. And what I'm saying is,
a little outline of an Oscar if they didn't have one, like a blank one.
Well, it says in small type, "Whoops, no Oscar." No. And again, I caught this, and I'm like, why? I thought, why do some of these names not have an Oscar icon next to them? And I go, oh, they never won an Oscar. But again, my point is, why even point that out now? It's like, how do I say this nicely? Once you're dead, it should be a level playing field.
All these people are equal right now.
That's what I'm saying. So I get it. It's the Oscars. I get that they want to recognize past winners, but once they're past, who gives a fuck? Don't show me that information. I can find that out on my own. Okay, how about this? And this will be like the last thing I say, unless you want to say something else. I did see a tweet that said just the presentation of the in memoriam was bad because, like in past years or in other in memoriams, they wouldn't just show, and this is what happened this year. They just showed a picture, like a static picture, a still picture of the person who passed away, and that's it. But in like other in memoriams, they'd maybe show the person winning an Oscar, and then maybe that's how you'd know that person won an Oscar. Or they'd show
the clip of a performance.
Exactly, a clip of a performance, or just them on the set, or just them doing their job, like some video. But no, black and white still photo, and then every once in a while,
so emotionless.
Yeah, and then every once in a while you see like Ray Liotta gets a moment, which fantastic, right? But they show a clip from Goodfellas. Other than that, though, still photo, black and white. The presentation was bad. And I can't believe we talked so much about the in memoriam, but really, I'm with you, Marcus. It makes no sense. It was that bad.
It was a fucking disgrace.
Yeah. So, yeah, F. I think that's the bottom of the barrel for me in terms of this year's Oscars, is the in memoriam. Like, that was the worst of it.
Flat out F.
Yeah.
From both of us.
Flat out F. So, we can only go up from here. So, we've talked about Kimmel. We talked about the presenters, the in memoriam, the montages. Let's just fucking get into the categories and winners. Let's just We're almost an hour into this episode. God damn it! All right.
You know what? Kimmel in the In Memoriam. I thought his Robert Blake joke was funny.
Yeah, you know what? I
laughed at that.
chuckled a bit. Because Robert Blake, fuck that guy. He killed his wife. All right.
Yeah.
The Oscars. So the first Oscar of the night, animated feature film. Oh, I should also say this. I almost forgot about this, Marcus. I'm glad I remembered. The Talk Film Society Oscar pool made a comeback this year.
Yeah, sure did.
And you went into the pool. You put down your picks. I went into the pool. I put down my picks. Do you remember what you picked in each category, Marcus?
Generally, but not. I'm sure I would be wrong on a few of them.
If not, I have your list up, so I can.
I mean, I think I got them all right.
Okay. Wait, you got them all right?
I think I got all the points.
We'll see. So, first one, animated feature film. That was a given. We all knew that was going to happen. Good for him, though. Guillermo del Toro, his Pinocchio, won the Oscar for animated film. Nothing wrong here, in my opinion. Good start to the show. Marcus, do you agree?
Yeah. That is a good way to start the show. And I have not seen Pinocchio yet. I did not get it in time, but I did get to watch Marcel the Shell with Shoes on a few days ago.
Oh.
I think I did that on Saturday.
Did you like that?
I did. Yeah. Sweet. Cute.
Sweet movie.
Cute movie.
Did you cry?
I did not cry.
Okay. Well, you're subhuman. All right.
Yeah.
Looks like we both got animated feature film right on our ballots. We can move on. Next, here we go. So we were talking before about the presentation of the acting awards. So last year's winners for supporting actor and actress, they presented this year's nominees and winners for supporting actor and actress. So I thought that was great. Let's go to the winners, though. Off the bat, well, the first one was a given. We all knew. Ke-Huy Quan won. Great speech, right?
Good for him.
Yeah, good for him. You agree, though? Great speech, good moment.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, good.
Nothing wrong with it.
Good. Nothing wrong with it. It's pretty good. All right. I loved it, of course. I should say, before my mom went to sleep, we were having dinner as we're watching the show, and she was looking at the TV and saying, "Oh, look, a lot of people are crying during this speech." And then she looked over at me, and I had misty eyes. I wasn't crying.
You and Marcelo almost cried.
Yeah, I almost did. I didn't. So we both got that right on the ballots, on our respective ballots in the Oscar pool. We can move on to the next one. Best Supporting Actress. How do you feel about this, Marcus?
It was maybe by this point that I threw in the towel.
You wanted to call it quits?
But I was like, hey, you know what? Sure. Like she was fifth place of these 5 nominees, I would say, for me. Firmly in 5th place. And she still won. And I was just like, okay. I really, as she was walking up to the stage, I was going through my head feeling like, why don't I feel more about this? Like, I feel like I should care about this right now. And I don't. I didn't care. I wasn't like bad. I was like, okay, good for her in general.
If this is your first episode, congrats. Also, I'm sorry. This is maybe our most negative episode of this series. But I'll remind those who don't know, I love Everything Everywhere All at Once. It's my favorite movie of the year. Right? I'll talk more about that later. But even I've said on past episodes, yes, she's the fifth best in that category, right? And this is a game. I know it's not just who's the best performer. It almost rarely is about that. it's a popularity contest most of the time. I don't know. Maybe it's like 50-50. I don't know. Again, I'm a positive guy. Maybe I want to give the Oscars the benefit of the doubt, but sometimes it is a popularity contest, and I think that's the case here. Popularity, legacy. Her parents were actors. All that. I think all that pushed her into getting that Oscar, Jamie Lee Curtis. And but again, I'll say, I love Everything Everywhere All at Once. I think it's fine, her performance, but is it better than anybody else on that ballot? No. I'm okay with her winning, though. Apparently I won an Oscar too, Marcus, and I think you won an Oscar too.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. I did win an Oscar.
Yeah, because she said on stage to everybody out there who've seen all the genre films she's ever been in, they won Oscar. So I won an Oscar. I just said earlier, Halloween Kills, great movie. Who's the star of Halloween Kills? Michael Myers and Jamie Lee Curtis, now an Oscar winner. So, yeah.
So actually, this worked out pretty well for all of us.
Yeah, so we all won Oscars here. Now, this is one category where I got it wrong, and looking through your ballot, Marcus, you got it wrong too.
Good.
We both put down Carrie Condon. We thought she was going to win.
She could do it. I thought she could do it.
I think partly because of the conversation we had, maybe in like the second to last episode where we were picking our final picks. And also I'll say this. Maybe I should get into it now. When we were doing the Oscar poll in the Discord, in Talk Film Society's Discord, Marcus was like, "Hey, no cheating." And Marcus,
no, I didn't. I said I'm not going to cheat, but I leave it up to everybody else.
No, that was basically you saying no. yeah. I see how you're framing it. How about this?
That's how I framed it. Look, am I trying to get inside your mind? Am I trying to make you think differently? Of course. But what did I actually say?
You said you're not going to cheat. I think that's what you said. And I go,
I said, I'm not going to cheat. I don't care what other people do, but right. I can't allow it.
You can't allow it for yourself and for others.
My honor will not allow it, I think is how I said.
But then I asked, what do you consider cheating, Marcus, is what I asked you. And what'd you say? Looking
at any prediction websites.
But first off, haven't we been doing that for 14 weeks now? That's one. And two, you can't tell me what to do.
I didn't tell you what to do.
I know, but in your own way, I know what you're doing, Marcus. In your own way, you're wagging your little finger at me. And here's what I did, and I've said this before on the show. I went to Gold Derby. All right, I didn't. Okay, but here's the thing: when I go to Gold Derby, I don't copy all their picks. All right, because yes, Gold Derby. And we're not going to play the Gold Derby game this episode.
Oh, thank God.
Sorry. But the Gold Derby game is just a guide. I'm like, okay, I'm going to see what they pick. They're not always right in terms of their predictions, in terms of their Oscar predictions. So I'm like, okay, I looked through those picks. I saw what ranked first in every category there. Then I read a predictions wrap up from Hollywood Reporter, and then I read a predictions wrap up from Variety, right?
And you put all these calculations in a computer and outspit your list.
But okay, I'm going to put this to whoever's listening, to Manish, if you're listening. Doing all that, I don't consider that in cheating. In Marcus's words, okay? Maybe you would consider that cheating, Marcus, but I'm just doing research, and ultimately, I'm making the choice here.
Is it cheating? No. I just think, the way I think of this kind of thing, I think friendly competition, go on what's in your head. Not, I need to study up on this shit and really try to do my best.
But that's, okay, but that's where we're different, Marcus. If I want to do my best, I'm going to try every angle I possibly can. I'm going to do my research. That's what I do. I do my research.
That's why you got 15 awards right, and I got 10. or whatever.
I think I got more than that, but we'll get to that later.
Wow.
Okay, so having said all that, even like all those sources, all the research I did for these categories, I still got stuff wrong, and I got Kerry Condon wrong because it was kind of split. I forget what Gold Derby said. I think Gold Derby had Bassett as number one in supporting actress. And Variety maybe had Condon. I forget what Hollywood Reporter had. I don't know. But I'm like, you know what? I thought back to what you said and to what I've been hearing, Marcus. Maybe the votes would be split between Bassett and Jamie Lee Curtis. I thought about there must be a surprise this year. I thought before watching the Oscars there must be a surprise in an acting category because usually that's what happens. Like sometimes. Yeah, something unexpected happens, and I thought maybe this would be the category where it happens. Out of nowhere, seemingly. Although she's won, she won the BAFTA, right? Kerry Condon. It wouldn't be a total surprise, but hey, Kerry Condon could sneak in and get it, and I was wrong. You were wrong. Jamie Lee Curtis got it. So, what else can we say about that?
Not much.
All right.
What's our next category?
Next category. Documentary feature film, Naval Knee won.
Yeah, I said All the Beauty and the Bloodshed because I went with the critical consensus rather than what made the most sense, which one's on Netflix, which one's talking about fucking Ukraine or whatever.
Yeah, you got that. Yeah, you picked all the Beauty and the Bloodshed, which, okay, here's the thing. When picking these picks, I really just went heartless here because... and we'll talk about it. For a lot of these picks I picked, not necessarily my favorites in each category. Naval Knee, I've kept hearing from people I trust it's not a great documentary. Other films in that category were better. I love All the Beauty and the Bloodshed. I think that should have won. But I knew, okay, fine. Naval Knee won all these awards at the PGA and whatever. It's on HBO. I'll pick that, and I picked it, and it won. I'm not happy about it, Marcus. Again, yeah. I love All the Beauty and the Bloodshed, and that'll be on HBO in a week or so, and I want everybody to see that. But Naval Knee,
watch it then.
Naval Knee won. We can move on. Live action short film. Another thing okay. What did do you remember what you picked, Marcus, for live action short film?
Yeah, I picked La Pupille for two reasons. A, you told me it was the one you liked the most when you watched it.
Yeah.
But two, the one that really made me pick it was I noticed a little name there. A man by the name of Alfonso Cuarón.
Yes.
And I was like, well, okay, he's the only name I recognize here. Maybe that'll get him a few extra votes and he'll win. In my fucking head, I remember on our podcast when we first did our predictions a month or two ago, I said Irish Goodbye just because I go snap decision by the name.
Yeah.
And Irish Goodbye is the one that just stood out to me. And if I had went with that, but no, I had to double check it and be like, oh, okay, Alfonso Cuarón, I'll pick that one.
So I have thoughts on all the shorts categories since I did see the documentary shorts in theaters and I saw the live action shorts in theaters and I saw some of the animated shorts and I have hot takes on those. Irish Goodbye, yeah, you should have went with your gut because something that came to mind when I was doing my research was, or something not came to mind, something that was pointed out to me that made sense was that Irish Goodbye is the only English language film in the bunch, right?
Yeah.
Le Pupille, the one produced by Alfonso Cuarón, my favorite of the bunch. I love that movie. It's 38 minutes. It's on Disney Plus. It's inventively shot. It tells a great little story. All the kid actors are great. I would love to see a full length feature film based on the premise. But of course, no, that's not going to win because it's fucking French. Like, no, who's going to sit through a 38 minute French movie starring like kids in at a nunnery? Like, nobody. And then of course like an Irish Goodbye. Oh, Irish Goodbye. I know. Yeah. Sight unseen. I'm sure a lot of people just pick what looks good, or if they see these movies, they go, "I'm going to pick the one that I can understand," which sucks. But anyway, and the other films are good too. But hey, their disadvantage is they're in a foreign language, so that sucks. So hey, keep it. That's a hot tip for anybody listening for next year. If you run into a category with mostly international movies in the foreign languages, and there's one English language and there's one English language one, pick the English language one. Most likely that'll be the winner. All right, next category. We did that. Cinematography.
Whoa.
Oh boy. Ooh, the colors. The
many colors in our winner.
The many colors. There's
the
gray
wide palette.
There's gray. There's blue. There's of course a lot of white. That's right. The best cinematography of the year went to All Quiet on the Western Front. This was a given, right, Marcus?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I think it was.
No, and hey, it's the one thing I've been saying about All Quiet on the Western Front. If anything, it looks great. There's some beautiful shots in it. I can't fault it for that. And against all these other movies, sure. I would have been happy if this was the only award that went to All Quiet on the Western Front.
When this one went to All Quiet on the West, when this one happened, when they were going through the nominees, and they showed little clips, they showed Elvis, and I was just like, God, I love Elvis.
Elvis good.
And every time Elvis showed up on screen, I was like, God, this movie's good. Why is this not winning any of the awards? And that went on throughout the night. Elvis never won anything.
Yeah.
And it's bizarre.
Yeah. By the way, we both picked All Quiet on our ballots.
Yeah, but what I mean is, like, I'm saying, like, my mind focused on, like, oh, they actually did nominate a good movie here.
Yeah.
And it's not going to win, and it's like, that gets in my head even more.
Listen, I've been in your position so many times with these awards, and that's why there's a love-hate thing. But yeah, like, let's just focus on cinematography. I'm with you. Like, Elvis, amazing, colorful, a beautifully crafted movie. I'd even say Empire of Light is a beautiful movie. Tar, I know you're not the biggest Tar fan. I love Tar. A beautifully shot movie.
I give it to best cinematography, though,
Yeah,
honestly.
yeah.
I think it looks great.
Yeah. I haven't seen Bardo. I refuse to see Bardo, but I keep hearing cinematography in Bardo is great.
Who cares?
But I'll reiterate, and I'll say this. I'm probably gonna say this a lot during the episode. So sorry to all the All Quiet lovers out there, all two of you. If it's one thing that it does well, it's cinematography. All Quiet.
Yeah.
And
if it were going to get a single award,
yeah. But
like, okay, this is fine.
Yeah, but we'll see about that. All right. So cinematography, we both got that right. Hey, speaking of Elvis, makeup and hairstyling.
Yeah.
All right. And there's gonna be a little pause between every category as I'm scrolling through our ballots. But Marcus, you start. Who won that?
Makeup and hairstyling went to The Whale.
The Whale.
Adrienne Moreau, Judy Chin, and Anne Marie Bradley.
Oh, this is interesting. Okay. Speaking of Elvis, I see we both put down Elvis as who we thought was going to win at the Oscars.
I thought
too. At least, okay.
Gosh.
Marcus, we've talked about this before. It seems like we have. We've talked about so many things. I'm sure we've talked about how this year's makeup and hairstyling award, 3 out of the 5 are for people in fat suits, right?
Yep.
Elvis, The Whale, and The Batman. And I thought, okay, that narrows it down, I guess, because apparently the Academy or the makeup and hairstyling people, they sure do love to put a fat suit on somebody. So out of the three, one of those is going to win. And I'm like, okay, which one does it more, more, not necessarily better. Not which one does it better? No, it's which one would, the awards love. And I'm like, you know what? Elvis. Because Elvis has to get something, right? Elvis has to win at least best makeup and hairstyling. No.
I understand why the whale won. His prosthetics and all that shit, like, they are genuinely impressive and feel really impressively done.
I'll give it that.
But it's makeup and hairstyling does tend to go to body transformational stuff. And you're right. We had that in Batman and in Elvis. So it could have been any of those three ways, but the most obvious one would have been the whale. Like that, how they turned this guy into this bigger guy.
Which no, and I'm with you. Like the clip they showed when the whale won. I didn't know that the face transformation was CGI, and I'm like, oh, like, you know what? You fooled me. Although now that I think about it, it's like, wouldn't that be in the visual effects category? Regardless, but I don't know. I just, come on, Elvis though. Not only does it have, Tom Hanks in a fat suit, and eventually Austin Butler in a fat suit, but like the fucking hair, like just everything about like Elvis, like the character in the movie,
his makeup, his fucking makeup, and his hair. This is makeup and hairstyling. Like, good Lord, you couldn't have done it more perfectly.
Yeah,
but
that's
fuck off to them.
Yeah, that's me just trying to rationalize, like, it seemed like a solid pick, but whatever. Fine. The whale. You know what? You know what? I'm going to stop myself because we'll talk about the whale later. All right. Next category was costume design.
I should have seen this one coming. I didn't. I kind of dismissed it a little bit, but like, I should have thought about. I knew Black Panther won this before.
Yeah.
So it shouldn't have been a surprise. It was still a surprise, and you know what? In a good way. Ultimately, Black Panther did win this. Black Panther Wakanda Forever. And Ruthie Carter, she won.
Yeah, Ruth Carter.
She is the only black female to now have multiple Oscars.
Which is insane.
Is fucking insanity.
Listen.
95 years.
When a stat like that comes out, like, how are we supposed to feel? Like, happy or just angry that that's the case? That we're 95 years into the Oscars and there's just been a one black woman who's won twice, and that's for costume design. I love her.
That felt unreal. That felt unreal.
I'm saying it in that this should have happened a lot sooner and more often. That's what I'm saying. It's insane. And okay, I got this one right. I put down Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Marcus, you put down Elvis, which, hey, that again, pretty much everything I said about hair and makeup, I could say about costume design, like with Elvis. Yeah. But I guess I'm also like, well, Ruth Carter, she is amazing. She's done incredible work. I'm like, why wouldn't they just give her another award? Because I think it's a worthy award to have, because the costumes in Wakanda Forever are just as amazing as the first Black Panther. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna just go with my gut and say they'll give her another award, which was well earned. But I see why you pick Elvis, because that seems like also like another like obvious, like, oh, of course, it's fucking Elvis. Elvis has got to win something. So that's best costume design. Anything else about that, Marcus?
No, actually, when they were showing the clip before she had even won, when they were showing the clip, I was actually like pleasantly surprised by it. I was like, oh, that actually, you know what? Yeah, that looks good. Yeah. And not even when they were doing it, like it also had a makeup nomination, didn't it? And when they showed it for makeup, I did not have the same reaction. I was like, no, I don't see the makeup necessarily, but when they showed it for costumery, I was like, yeah, you know what? Yes, this looks good.
Yeah. See, that's kind of how I felt, because I remember the intricacies of like every costume in like Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, and like it's a worthy win for costume design. Not some, and I had to double check. Yeah, you're right. Wakanda Forever also got nominated for makeup, which is like I don't think about makeup or hairstyle in Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. I don't.
Although
think that.
there is the obvious how films historically how issues with like Black women's hair in particular, how like people don't know how to work with that. Like I know that is a big sticking point with actresses and stuff. Like recognizing a film like that doesn't obviously get that right, but
you know what?
So like I guess I shouldn't be so immediately dismissive, but I think makeup more. I go to the hairstyling less.
You know what? Good point. No, I feel like an idiot. So thank you, Marcus. I'm a racist asshole.
No.
Let's move on. Best international.
It subconsciously happened in both of our heads, and in makeup, what I was thinking was I thought the Black Panther won, and Michael B. Jordan had all the bumps all over his body, and like I always thought that was like an amazing makeup job. They look fucking like they add so much to that character, and I didn't think of anything that stood out that much from Black Panther, but. Now that I'm thinking about it more, rationalizing it more.
Yeah. You know what? Yeah, good point. I take it back. You're the idiot. I'm not an idiot. No, I'm joking. I'm kidding, folks. And hey, a fun fact: as we're
just screwing around here. It's okay.
As we're doing this, I have the Oscars on again in the background, and they're presenting the makeup and hairstyle award. No, sorry, they're presenting. They are makeup and hairstyle, and it went to The Whale. But we're not on that anymore. We're on Best International Film. All right, All Quiet on the Western Front. All right, that one, we both picked it. Pretty much a given. Condolences to the other four. This was going to be the winner. Any thoughts on this, Marcus? This is kind of a boring one.
Say which one are we talking about again?
Best International Feature Film. All Quiet on the Western Front.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Another boring one. Not surprising at all. But also, you know what? It's not a guarantee. I've said this before. It's not a guarantee that the one that bleeds into other categories, the one foreign feature film that bleeds into other categories, is going to win Best Foreign Feature Film. But you know, it was the most obvious because it is the most accessible. It did win so much other stuff.
Yeah.
No surprise.
Yeah, no surprise. And hey, Netflix, their for your consideration campaigns, pretty good. It gets them across the line sometimes. So yeah. Add that into the mix too. Next category, documentary short film. All right, I saw these in a theater, and I talked about it on the podcast. I mentioned that the winner, Elephant Whispers, I said that that movie, in my opinion, kind of like run of the mill, but like kind of like amazingly shot with like these drones, and like you're in India, you're with these elephants. It's sort of a crowd pleasing, light-hearted for the most part documentary. And I think I even said on the episode where I talked about it a few weeks ago, I'm like, you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if that won.
You did say that, and that's why I picked it.
Yeah, and good job, Marcus, for listening to me. And
you said animal documentary. I was like, yeah, it's probably that.
Yeah, and my sources, my resources, my research in doing this pretty much said the same thing. That the Elephant Whisperers, like, yeah, it's kind of like the one that voters would kind of gravitate towards, because it is like a kind of, like I said, everything I just said. Elephant Whisperers won. Good on them. I would have loved to have seen, like, How Do You Measure a Year win. I said that on the episode a few weeks ago too, but it's just so experimental and like very low budget. It's just a father videotaping like his daughter for 18 years. It's like, that's it.
Yeah, it sounds beautiful.
But it's incredible, and like the story it tells, like, in its like 20 minutes. But hey, the Oscars are the Oscars. The voting body wants to pick a nice, beautiful animal documentary, and it did. Good job, Elephant Whispers. Next category, animated short film. Okay, I have thoughts on this. I got thoughts on this.
Give me your thoughts.
So I did see My Year of Dicks. Okay. I did see An Ostrich Told Me the World is Fake, and I Think I Believe It. And those are only 2 of the 5 I saw. But those are, like, My Year of Dicks is kind of incredible, because it's not what you really think it is. I'm assuming you haven't seen it, right, Marcus?
No.
Okay. I recommend you do. Yeah, I think you'll get a kick out of it, because not only is it like a well-told, like, funny story about this teenager, just the plot is like she's trying to lose her virginity, but she keeps running into these assholes, the titular dicks. But I don't know. There's like 5 chapters. Like, each chapter has like a different animation style. It's by the end, it's like it's sweet. It's funny. It's pretty good. So that was my favorite of the 2 I saw. An Ostrich Told Me the World is Fake is really good. It's a nice, clever idea. It's stop motion. But so my girlfriend went to go see these movies in theaters, and the one thing she said was, "The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse is terrible." She said it's like I may be conflating this with like other thoughts on it, because I did see other people say this when that short won.
Tommy say this. He said it was in the Discord. He said it was like super schmaltzy and like the only one that was bad. Like
saccharine. Yeah, that's right. Like Thomas said it. I think other people on Twitter said it too. But yeah, my girlfriend said it was bad. I think my girlfriend said in the theater, people were just not having that. Like, we're just like, I don't know. I kind of want to ask her again, like, what exactly were they doing during this short film? Because apparently nobody was buying it. And the only reason I picked it, and I did pick it to win, and I got it right. Marcus, you picked My Year of Dicks, which, again, it felt like it should have won. Because it has like that catchy name. It's actually a good short movie. But you know what it doesn't have, Marcus? It doesn't have the power of Apple Plus behind it, because that's the only reason I picked The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse, because I read that like Apple TV, Apple Plus, whatever the fuck it is, it's advertising the hell out of it. It's got like a big for your consideration campaign behind it. And I'm like, you know what, fuck it. I'm not going to go against Apple here. So of course it's going to win. And it did.
Yeah. So my title rule, it doesn't always work. This time I had 3 that were like eye-catching to me: The Boy, the Mole, My Year of Dicks, and the Ostrich. But I should have went for The Boy, the Mole, and the Fox, and the Horse, because I saw a tweet from Guillermo del Toro pumping it up. Where Guillermo apparently likes this movie a lot or whatever.
Well,
and so I was like, I should have picked it for that reason, but I went with my friends, who I've heard multiple people talk about My Year of Dicks and say it's great. So I went with them, and I should have trusted Guillermo.
Yeah, well, remember, I was trying to remember which it's either it's one of the Philip Lord people, one of those 2 dudes. He was hyping it up before it got nominated, My Year of Dicks, and that's where I first heard it, and I'm like, oh, My Year of Dicks, that might get nominated. It got nominated, And I'm kind of with you. I'm like, I would have put it down as the winner, but I did my research, Marcus. I did my research. And I know how evil a corporation like Apple TV is. And they'll put all the money behind one campaign just to get one award. So good for them. But apparently it's bad. I'm never going to see it. All right. Production design. Let's talk about these houses. All right. So
let's talk about these big, wide open fields with like sticks on them.
When I think of All Quiet on the Western Front, I think about production design. That's what I think about. So I think it was after this win, which, All Quiet on the Western Front won production design. After this win, I'm like, oh boy, what's happening here? Is why is All Quiet picking up these awards again? I feel you when you said earlier that there are more worthy pictures, like more worthy contenders here compared to All Quiet on the Western Front. And again, I'm going to kick this movie as much as possible for the remainder of this episode. I see we both put down Babylon for best production design, and we were both wrong. It went to All Quiet, but again, come on. I'm talking to the Oscar voting body. Well, I don't. Marcus, do you understand this? Do you get this? I don't get this.
There is nothing. The entirety of All Quiet on the Western Front it's not an unconvincing movie. I believe they were in the trenches. They were in the shit. They had the bunker and shit. But and all the stuff on the battlefield and all over. Like, of course, it looks good. I'm not going to say it doesn't. But I don't think the entirety of that movie measures up to even just the mansion in the first hour of Babylon.
Yeah.
The amount of detail, the amount of planning, the amount of... How the fuck did they keep that set running for multiple days to shoot the amount of footage they had to shoot? How did the production design people do that? And they did it perfectly, amazingly.
Yeah. I mean, I'm with you.
And then the rest of the movie.
Yeah, and listen, we're both big Babylon fans. Marcus is a bigger Babylon fan than I am, apparently. But I'm with you, and this wasn't just me saying I want Babylon to win. This was me saying Babylon deserves it, but also I could see voters, if anything, awarding this because it's showing you the behind the scenes of Hollywood filmmaking, and it feels like it gets it right, and like those sets feel alive. There's like a large sequence in the middle where I can perfectly envision, maybe it's because I've seen this movie like 4 times. I can envision that set, and it's big, it's beautiful, it's like old Hollywood, and it just, again, it feels right. But no, let's just pick the movie that shows us the same war field.
Shit. I fucked up.
You're still recording?
I'm still recording, yeah. I just accidentally closed Skype on my phone.
You hung up.
I'm trying to clear up space so I can just flip around easier between the awards and Skype and shit.
Gotcha.
And I fucked up.
I was just rambling on about Babylon.
As you should, as we all should. The one type of joke that Jimmy Kimmel did do in the monologue that that is akin to nobody saw women talking because it's an independent film. He did do one joke that's like, Babylon lost $100 million.
No, whatever.
And you know what? Ultimately, that is probably what it fucking comes down to. Is like potentially people are upset that the movie didn't make money, or they just like attribute that as instant failure.
And hey,
it wasn't the most critically well received movie too either. Like I actually don't know.
It wasn't hugely critically received. It wasn't like it wasn't a hit in terms of what makes an Oscar movie a hit. Because even The Hurt Locker didn't make a bunch of money, but people loved it. The critics loved it, and they eventually gave it Best Picture because it was like so well regarded. But Babylon doesn't have that behind it. And I was frankly surprised it got 2 nominations. But I'm like, it's a shoo-in for at least one, maybe both. And I thought for sure, again, just to reiterate, it had a lot going for it. It made sense that it was going to win in my head. I picked it. Marcus, you picked it. We both lost. And it went to All Quiet. Again, in regards to production design, a pretty boring standard choice. But that, hey, yeah, around this time, I wanted to just give up. I wanted just to say, you know what? I'm gonna go to sleep.
I thought on the Western Front, you were feeling it closing in,
because the next category was really my moment of just thinking about my life and everything leading up to this moment. Let's talk about best score. And we heard that. We heard that a lot this evening. Best score went to All Quiet on the Western Front, which is insane to me. It's insane. Marcus?
Yeah, it is. When they played the little snippets from each thing, I was like, how could you possibly give it to this? I do remember thinking when I was watching All Quiet that I liked the score, but also nothing stands out from it and nothing remains in my head other than what the Oscars beat into me last night.
Yeah.
When I can pretty accurately remember the scores from Babylon, Banshees, Fabelmans, and even Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah. Now... I'll just say, having said all that, reviewing our ballots, you went with Babylon, which should have won.
Yeah.
I did put down All Quiet on the Western Front. Because, do you know why? Not only was I doing the research, I'm like, okay, apparently people like this score. But I can't tell you exactly why I went with All Quiet. I just felt that... It may be that simple thing of how do I say this? Because I don't want to say this in the positive. The score certainly stands out in the movie, when I was watching All Quiet, and that little bum 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 like popped up. I'm like, oh, that's weird, and I'm like, I think I said this when we talked about All Quiet when I saw All Quiet. I'm like, does that even fit? It just feels like so out of... It doesn't belong in a movie like this, or it's like too modern.
I remember you saying that.
Yeah. But I guess I can see people seeing that as a positive when I'm like, no. When something like Babylon has this like fucking great like jazz score that's all throughout the movie, that really represents the time and place of the movie, that feels like it. I love the soundtrack of Babylon. I'm constantly playing it. It's in my head. Like you said, Marcus, it gets stuck in your head. Comparing that to All Quiet, I at this point during the telecast, like I said, I wanted to just jump into traffic and just end it all.
Banshees, like it feels like it's sparingly used, but it feels really authentic and scores the movie perfectly. The Fabelmans,
you know what?
John Williams is 80 whatever the fuck years old, 96 years old, right?
Yeah.
And the oldest nominee in history. Not going to be around too much. There was pretty firm retirement rumors not that long ago. I was like, why is he not the one that has the juice for this?
Yeah,
I still don't quite understand that, but okay.
I'm going to say because of the research and because, like I said, it just feels like it's in the movie and in your face. That's why I gave All Quiet like that. That's why I picked All Quiet in this category, but. Just jumping on what you said, I was very close to giving it to John Williams. I thought, yeah, it makes sense. Even though I don't think it's an amazing score, it's still great compared to like All Quiet.
And it's still John Williams.
It's still John Williams.
Ennio Morricone won his for Hateful Eight.
Yeah. Well, that one was like, I think he had never won before. But still,
yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah,
but
still, John
Williams has, but he hasn't won since like the 80s.
Exactly, he hasn't won in a while. I don't think. Actually, maybe we should look that up because I'm curious too. But yeah, there are better cases to be made with every other contender in this category. I just don't understand why All Quiet gets this, and this is why I was worried. I'm like, well, if it's getting these awards that it shouldn't rightfully get, that it was signaling maybe it'll get Best Picture. So that's what I thought when it won Best Score. All right, next category. It is visual effects. Okay, this one's simple, right? We're back on the ground floor here. I'm pretty sure we both picked Avatar, right, for best visual effects.
Yeah, this was yeah. There was no other choice.
There's no yeah. I mean, really, it's. I was one of those assholes who was mad that Everything Everywhere didn't get on the short list for best visual effects. But really, if it got nominated, there was no chance it was going to win. Nothing was going to win over Avatar: The Way of Water.
Nothing should have won.
No. Period. Nothing should have won. They should just give her this category.
No.
All right. I'm still trying to look up John Williams' Oscars. As I do that, what's the next category, Marcelo? All right. It is... Oh, here we go. We're into the screenplays. First up, original.
To the screenplays.
To the screenplays, my man. Original screenplay. Do you remember what you put down?
Original screenplay, I put down The Banshees of Inisherin.
And I put down the winner, Everything Everywhere, All at Once.
Yeah. I was hoping not to see 3 speeches from these boys tonight. On that night.
But you did. You did see 3 speeches from the dudes.
I did indeed.
We'll talk about more. We'll talk about that later. I remember your last episode. I said, "Hey, Marcus, save all that energy they have for the Daniels." It does feel like all your energy has been zapped, though. You
love the movie so much. Do you agree with this particular win?
Let me look at the
this
nominees.
particular
Hold
win.
on.
Don't
hold on.
I'll ask you the same question with director later. Don't bring direction or anything into this. Do you agree with this particular win?
Okay. Again, just to reiterate, I love Everything Everywhere. It's my number 1 of the year. Actually, we did an episode on screenplays. What did I say was the number 1 screenplay? I'll look at that. Let's see. I ask myself because I have the book
just
here.
plain do not know.
So looking at the category here, we have Banshees of Inisherin, Everything Everywhere, The Fabelmans, Tar, Triangle of Sadness. If it was my Oscars from these 5, is this what you're asking?
Yeah.
The Fabelmans. I would have given it to The Fabelmans.
And you would have been right to do so with that race car driving by your house.
If I already knew the Daniels were going to get the Director Award and Best Picture, and I think you mentioned this in a past episode, just give it to Spielberg for Fabelmans and Kushner, because not only is that script solid, it works so well, separated from the direction. Not only is it worthy because it's a great script, it would have been great for Spielberg to have a writing Oscar, because he's never won a writing Oscar.
Yeah. And just to have a moment on the night where his most personal work that we've ever gotten or have gotten since like the 70s with him, since like Close Encounters or E.T.
Yeah.
His most personal work possibly ever.
It got no love.
I want to see him speak about that fucking movie.
Yeah.
and nothing. No.
Well, we luckily got
Daniel Kwan and Daniel Scheinert.
Which, hey, I again, for movie of the year, I'm happy that it won, but I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt, though. The fact that like Fabelman's got nothing, Tar got nothing, Banshee's got nothing. Just spread the love around.
Triangle of Sadness got nothing.
Triangle of Sadness got nothing. Well, Triangle of Sadness is. I mean, that's number 5 on the
Even
list.
got shut out of the In Memoriam.
Yeah. Looking back, weeks ago, when we did our original screenplay and adapted screenplay episode, I put down Crimes of the Future as my number 1 original and Everything Everywhere as my number 2 original. And then Tar, Fabelmans, and Nope. But again, knowing what we know now, I would have given it to Fabelmans. Anyway. Best Adapted Screenplay. What did you put down for Best Adapted Screenplay?
I am not sure. Oh, no, I picked All Quiet, didn't I?
Yes, you did pick All Quiet.
Yeah. Happy to be wrong.
Yeah, I put down Women Talking. Oh, by the way, I put down Everything Everywhere. And wait, what was it that you put down for original screenplay?
Banshees.
Fair. But yes, you put down All Quiet for adapted. I put down Women Talking for adapted. I felt like it was Sarah Pauli's time to shine. And this was me being hopeful because I saw there was talk of All Quiet getting adapted. I mean, you put down All Quiet for adapted, but I'm glad I went with Polly, and I'm happy that she went on and on stage and had a speech, and it was great seeing her. I'm a big fan of hers.
I'll be honest, I don't know that much about Sarah Polley, but I did look her up earlier, and turns out she directed and wrote one of my favorite movies. I love Take This Waltz so much.
Oh, I haven't seen that yet. I need to see it.
Yeah, I really I loved it. I've loved it since I saw it the time it came out, and it was like a kind of a weirdly formed. It was in that year where I got like most into film I've ever been, and it was a weirdly formative film for me, surprisingly so.
Speaking of formative films, let me say this. Speaking of formative films, she also was the star of the Dawn of the Dead remake. So I knew that, but I forgot that all season until somebody posted a picture of her from the Dawn of the Dead remake after she won.
I had no clue.
Yeah. Anyway, you were saying, Marcus?
Women Talking. I watched it.
Oh, you watched it. This is breaking news. We haven't talked about this.
I did watch it.
How do you feel about those women that talked at you?
I think it's about time that us men just sat down and listened.
Exactly.
Is my PC answer. I thought it was fine. I don't know. The performances are fine. I really like the score. I genuinely really did.
Yeah.
That's the thing that stood out the most to me.
By the woman's name who I cannot pronounce, who also did the score for Tar, who also won an Oscar for Joker. We've talked about it before.
Gunsdaughter or something like that.
Yes, Marcus, good. Thank you for attempting it. I'm sure you got it right, but I cannot pronounce it for my life. I think she's great. I think she's amazing. I do like that score a lot. I like the score in Tar, but we're not talking about her this year because the Oscars are dumb. Weird. They gave it to fucking All Quiet. To put All Quiet above the non-nominee Women Talking score, just that alone is infuriating. Anyway, speaking of score, a score is also a sound.
Speaking of the sound that women make when they're talking.
Best sound. The winner was Top Gun Maverick. Looking at our ballots, we both picked Top Gun Maverick. Good job on us, Marcus. Of course. Hey, plane go vroom. I don't know. It seemed like the obvious pick when doing my research, and if you ask me, I don't know, well deserved. It's definitely a great sounding movie. Don't you agree, Marcus?
One of the best sounding.
One of the best sounding movies.
This is one of the ones where if they were still doing sound design and sound mixing, I probably would have went for it for sound mixing, but not necessarily design. It is
a bummer that they went like, you know what, let's just merge these, so you have like one less technical Oscar, which sucks. They should be adding more categories than cutting them down. But anyway, we both got Top Gun. Best sound. Moving on.
Yeah, it tends to go to loud movies.
Yeah,
and,
loud. Yeah,
that's generally what I went with.
Best original song.
What? Okay, let's talk about this. So they were doing as your typical Oscars. They did the performances throughout the night. The first one was Applause from Tell It Like a Woman, performed by Diane Warren or whatever.
Yeah. Diane Warren, yes.
That was certainly a song. I don't remember even a second of it. Then they went to This Is a Life from Everything Everywhere All at Once. I didn't like that performance. Did you?
I liked it. I liked it okay. I did see it again before recording. And yeah, it's I don't know. Stephanie Hsu stepped in. Stephanie Hsu stepped in for Mitski, who couldn't attend. But Stephanie Hsu had a night. I'll say this: Stephanie Hsu.
She is having a moment right
now. No. That's not what I mean. I mean, physically, I think the night took a toll on her. Because I like her. She may not have been the best pick to perform with David Byrne for that song. Only because I think, again, like, she just saw, like, Ke Kwan win an Oscar, and she was, like, thrilled and, like, crying. And 10 minutes later, she has to go perform with David Byrne. She's like, go from her seat to like the backstage, change, perform next to David Byrne, who has hot dog fingers on his hands. I don't know.
David Byrne was doing what David Byrne does. Yeah. And like, if you like that, you like that. I like that. I think he clashed too much in a way that he doesn't on the actual song. But I think he clashed too much in this live performance with her.
It wasn't
her voice.
Yeah, it wasn't a good live performance. I'll give it that. But I liked the attempt. I liked the song, but I'll say I like the song, but it's not like the best song in the world. It's I think I said this in the Discord. I wouldn't say boring. It's like a perfect end credit song where I just listen to it as I'm walking out of the movie theater. And I don't really think about it much at all later. It's a fine walking out song. So yeah, performance not fantastic. I liked the people dancing around. I mean, I liked David Byrne and hot dog fingers. Like, that was all fine. I liked Stephanie Hsu's dress, but the actual singing of it, the performance, lacking.
But the next performance was Natu Natu, the one I was most excited to see. I was surprised they put it on third and not last, first off. What did you think of the performance of Natu Natu?
I enjoyed the performance of Natu Natu. Although somebody on Twitter said, and I'm going to keep referencing Twitter. I don't know if you guys know about Twitter.
Great website.
Twitter.com. Great website. Runs fine. Run by a fine man. Really, nothing bad has happened because of Twitter.
I would recommend, if you guys already like Twitter, sign up for Twitter Blue. It's only $8 a month. Like, it's
only $8.
A good service.
Yeah. You can write tweets that are like 1,000 words long. That I when I see that from like a blue check mark now, I know to block them. By the way, it's like I'm not gonna read that shit, and I'm not gonna follow you or want to see your tweets ever again. So you're blocked. So thank you, Twitter Blue, for making that a lot easier for me. I saw on Twitter that and this I kind of see this. Somebody on Twitter said that the performance felt like it was like at half speed, because it's definitely not as like frantic. I say that in the positive, not as frantic as like the film performance, but come on, I think it was as close to what we see in the movie, like a recreation of that. The production value, it was good. It was fine, and it was definitely a lively performance. Marcus, what'd you think of it?
For me, it underwhelmed a little bit. It was still fun. It was still cool. I think that Yeah, it just felt like something was a little off. I can't put my finger on what. I read before the ceremony that they were not bringing in any of the people who like actually worked on the choreography to like help put the number together.
That makes sense.
I thought that sucked. And then I saw people saying that none of the dancers were even Indian.
Yeah.
Which I thought was like insane.
That's insane.
So that sucks, but it was a decent performance. I didn't watch it, but I remember seeing people freak the fuck out about the Golden Globes performance of the song. And I wonder if that was a better performance or not.
I saw most of the Golden Globes, and I don't remember that performance. What? Oh, that's interesting that you say that. The one thing I remember from the Golden Globes in terms of Naatu Naatu is, Naatu Naatu wins the Oscar, and the person who accepted the award, he also accepted the Golden Globe, and it feels like for the Oscar acceptance speech, he really had it planned out, and for the Golden Globe speech, he really did not have it planned out. So I'm glad he had time to prepare, because it felt like it was an obvious. Not obvious, but it felt like all roads were leading to Naatu Naatu winning, which was good. So he had. I liked his speech, by the way, and I think it was cute.
The speech was cute. The song's great. I'm glad. I mean, the right winner won.
Yeah.
The fourth performance though was my favorite performance of the night.
Yeah.
Top Gun Maverick song.
So
Hold
good.
My Hand by Lady Gaga. She performed a very stripped down version where she was just in like a black t-shirt, less makeup, not how you expect to see Lady Gaga.
Torn jeans.
Far from her monster days.
It's actually just
the famed monster.
It's actually just got off the set of Joker 2, and was like, you know what?
It's just like that.
It's just like I mean, we could have seen on stage her in her Joker costume. Like that could be she could be the new Joker, and that's how the Joker is dressed in Joker 2.
But this performance kicked ass. She was into it.
Speaking of which, this performance is happening right before my eyes as I'm replaying the Oscars right now.
Oh my goodness.
The perfect timing.
Well, I thought it was beautiful. Phenomenal shit.
I'm in agreement, Marcus. I love this. And yeah, it should be noted that initially, like 2 weeks ago, the news came out that Lady Gaga was not going to be at the Oscars. Which, should we talk about that? You know, Tom Cruise didn't show up. James Cameron didn't show up. I mean, I get why they wouldn't show up. Because Tom Cruise, I'm sure, is still filming Mission Impossible. He figures, you know what, Top Gun's not going to win Best Picture, so I might not as well show up. James Cameron, though, maybe the same. Maybe he's busy, doing post-production on Avatar 3. He's like, you know what, I've been there. I'm not going to win, so why bother going? Lady Gaga, though, maybe she. I guess my thought is I don't blame these people for not showing up. If they figure they're not going to win. And Lady Gaga, she's filming the new Joker. She's busy with that, and it makes sense for her not to be there. She's a busy woman, and she figures she may not win. But then, I don't know, she changed her mind, I guess, because of there's apparently an outcry of people saying, why isn't Lady Gaga going to be there?
I certainly was bummed when I read the news.
Yeah, I mean, me too. I mean, of course. I love her, and I love to see her perform the song. And I guess she changed her tune. She's like, you know what? Little Monsters are right. I'm going to show up to the Oscars. I'm going to do this. And it was a last minute decision. Because it was like the day before that the news came out that she was going to show up, or maybe the day of. I forget. But very close to the ceremony. And it does feel stripped down because of that. It feels like maybe she just she just didn't have time to do anything else other than, come out in a black shirt
and went with it, and it made
down.
The performance even better.
Yeah, it was a great performance. I'm in agreement. And in the end, a picture of Tony Scott was back there.
Oh
was
my God,
unexpected, but I'm so glad they did that.
Incredible.
Yeah,
what a moment.
Yeah.
And our final performance, that song from Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, is called Lift Me Up, performed by Rihanna. It was good. Good performance.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have put it on last, but, they they went, pretty all out with that performance, I'd say.
Yeah.
Did a good job of presenting it. And
solid.
It was good. Yeah, solid.
Yeah. But yeah, of course, like we said, Naatu won. Well deserved. Very happy that it won. Dreams do come true, do they not, Marcus?
That certainly is true, Marcelo.
All right. Anything else to say about best song as we move on?
No.
Film editing. Here
wow.
we go. Film editing. Now, Marcus,
the magic of editing.
You famously said on this show at the Academy Awards, the voting body, in this category in particular, they go for the movie that is the most edited.
Yeah. I said that.
You said that, right? And I kept that in mind when I made my pick for best film editing. I'm like, you know what? Marcus has a good point. Also, I mean, and I forget what the prediction said. I think it was kind of split between Everything Everywhere and Top Gun. I almost picked Top Gun, but then you know what? I went with Everything Everywhere All at Once. I think partly because of what you said. Because, hey, I love Everything Everywhere. And I'll admit, it has the most editing of these 5 movies. Marcus, it looks like you also picked Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yep, for the same reason. I feel like that's how I feel about the category. That's how I feel they usually give it out. The loudest editing possible, I feel like wins it. Now, of course, putting it next to Elvis and Top Gun, it doesn't necessarily look like that. But when you're watching the movie and you're like watching the final 30 or 40 minutes of the movie, and it's constantly cutting in between different sets and stuff, like that's what you got to think about.
Which I did, by the way. Have I mentioned that right after the Oscars, I had to tabulate the Oscar pool, and what did I put on the TV in the background as I did this
to celebrate their big win? Everything Everywhere All at Once.
I saw it again, and yeah, you're right. They definitely it's an attack on the senses, as somebody would say. It was the most edited movie, and it won the best film editing Oscar. And apparently the editor, according to my feed, pretty hot. Marcus, your thoughts?
Yeah, I did also hear that. It's his second film he ever edited. To the moon with this man.
to the moon. Much luck to you. We hope you had sex that night. All right. Best director.
Oh, here we are.
Let's talk about it.
Here we are.
This is the category Marcus really wants to dig deep on.
Man.
But okay, first off, yes, the Daniels won, of course. And we both put down the Daniels for our picks on the in the Oscar pool. We both got that right. Well, Marcus, all right, you have the floor. Your thoughts on the Daniels winning Best Director?
Who the fuck are these guys?
Who the fuck are these guys?
Who the fuck will these guys be to film history? They seem like assholes. I don't like them. I do not believe in their work. That's it. I don't fucking like these guys. I don't think they measure up. I think they made one movie that a lot of people like, and that's good. People like the movie, good for them. People like Swiss Army Man, too. I don't think that's a good movie. People like Death of Dick Long. I guess I haven't seen that, but only one of them did that.
Yeah, guess which one?
And they were a bunch of music video directors, I guess. That's how they feel to me. And not in necessarily a great way, like how... who is it? Mick G.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, they're about a Mick G level to me.
Okay. What do you... wait, are you done before I can jump in?
Yeah, I'm done. I don't fucking like these guys.
You just don't like these guys. You just don't like these
I just don't like them, and I don't think this win will look good in the future. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm probably wrong. I don't get good vibes off of these fellas.
I was listening to you. I hear you. I see you. I feel you. Right. But as I was doing that, I was going through the history of the best director winners. All right.
Who's in the pantheon, Marcelo?
Okay. So let's just talk about the last.
Francis Ford Coppola. Steven Spielberg.
How about we just talk about the last 21 years?
All right.
Okay.
All right.
In the year 2000, I didn't.
Ridley Scott.
Well, he was nominated.
He did not win. Okay.
He did not win. Okay. How about this? Here's a game. Instead of the Gold Derby game, play Who Won.
Oh.
I'm not gonna do this. I'm not gonna do this. I'm not gonna do this with every category.
Oh, is it fucking America? Sam Mendes?
No. That was the previous year. That was 1999. I'm not gonna do this with every.
Let's go
category.
back 22 years. Sam Mendes.
Oh, good job.
How
You got
that
one.
one hold up?
You got 1 point. For the year 2000, the nominees were Stephen Daldry for Billy Elliot, Ang Lee for Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Ridley Scott for Gladiator, Steven Soderbergh for Traffic, Steven Soderbergh for Aaron Brockovich. Who won, Marcus?
I don't know. Steven Soderbergh for Traffic?
Yep, he won.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know the history. I don't know if any other director has been nominated twice.
That's crazy. Yeah, I had no clue.
For two great movies, by the way. I mean, I'm biased. I think he's the best ever. But yeah, he won for Traffic, well deserved, over Ridley Scott. Gladiator won Best Picture that year. All right, let's keep going. Let's just speed through these. 2001, Ron Howard.
You can't do this 22 times.
No. Just keep in mind though. But to your point, I just want to make a point of like, here's the last 20 years of Oscar winners. Let's just think about that in the pantheon compared to the Daniels.
Okay, well, does Steven Soderbergh belong in the pantheon? Yes. So there we go.
I want to speed through these. Ron Howard, A Beautiful Mind. Roman Polanski, The Pianist. Peter Jackson, Return of the King. Clint Eastwood, $1 Million Baby. Ang Lee, Brokeback Mountain. Scorsese, Departed. The Coen Brothers, No Country. Danny Boyle, Slumdog Millionaire. Catherine Bigelow, Hurt Locker. Tom fucking Hooper for The King's Speech. Michelle Hasanekovis for The Artist. Ang Lee, Life of Pi. Alfonso Cuarón, Gravity. Alejandro Gonzalez Inarritu for Birdman. Alejandro Gonzalez Inarritu for The Revenant.
Yeah.
Damien Chazelle for La La Land. Guillermo del Toro for The Shape of Water. Alfonso Cuarón for Roma. Bong Joon-ho for Parasite. Chloe Zhao for Nomadland. Jane Campion for The Power of the Dog. And finally, the Daniels for Everything Everywhere.
Do those two assholes live up to any of those names in there? Do you think?
In my opinion, yes. In your opinion, okay, I'll say in my opinion, they're definitely better than Inarritu. They're definitely better than Tom Hooper. They're definitely better than, as much as I like Michelle Havazankevitz's. Sorry, French guy. I did not like the artist that much. But
I'll give you all three of those.
I didn't like the artist that much, but I do like his OSS 117 movies. Those are funny. Better than that guy. Better than Polanski won in 2002. 20 years ago, Polanski won. What?
Yeah,
what?
That's insane. That's ridiculous.
They
held on. Hollywood held on to that guy for a ridiculous amount of time. Ron Howard, I do not think he's a great director. Honestly, like,
oh my god,
he does not have.
Hold on,
look,
I'm sorry.
Shut up.
Oh, yeah,
Shut up. I think he belongs there, absolutely, but I don't think he ever really gives. His movies never hit as hard as I want them to.
Yeah.
But does he always give me a good movie? I think I'd say yes. I'd say he's like a totally solid fucking workman's actor who just like puts in the work, makes good movies. I don't think he makes masterpiece next level shit ever, but like, has he made great movies? Yes.
I'm sort of in agreement. He's not my favorite director, but he's, like you said, like a workhorse director.
Yeah.
I said because I just remembered I saw a fucking Ron Howard movie this weekend and I completely forgot about it.
A new one?
No, I saw Apollo 13 for the first time in like 25 years, and it's solid.
It's solid, yes,
yeah.
Right? Like, it's not great, but it's solid.
And also, I saw it because it was one of those like rare occurrences where it won like a lot of awards beforehand, and it was expected to win, and then it like lost to Braveheart. So I think it won like the PGA and like maybe like WGA or something, or DGA, and then it fucking lost the Best Picture Oscar. Anyway, Ron Howard, adequate director. I have not seen A Beautiful Mind. Maybe that's his best work. Maybe that's astonishing, but I don't know. Well, but to fully answer your question about the Daniels and like, you know, the future of cinema, I don't hate to say it. You're gonna hate to hear me say it to you, Marcus. I think they're the future of cinema, as much as you don't like them.
Okay,
it feels to me.
I accept it.
It feels to me, and I get it though, because one of my great friends, who I saw Everything Everywhere All at Once with, like she was there when I saw it for the first time. We both saw it together about like a year ago now, like a year ago this week. She came out of it. She came out of that movie saying it's amazing, and she said this movie is for like the TikTok generation. And she's a bit younger than me, and I'm like, I guess that makes sense. As much as I don't like to hear that, to me that makes perfect sense. Like maybe, I mean, you're not even that old, Marcus. You're like what, like 27, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Oof, I pulled that one out of my ass. Yeah, it's the future of cinema, whether we like it or not.
It does feel to me like if I were 16 now seeing that movie, it'd probably blow me away. And I'm more cynical now than perhaps I was then.
Yeah.
And I can give it up to that. I can recognize that. I still don't. I don't know. I don't know. And
I am a fan of their work. I've seen every movie they've done. They've only done like 2 other movies. I liked Swiss Army Man a lot. I liked The Death of Dick Long, and I think one of the best music videos of all time is their music video for Turn Down for What. That to me is a masterpiece. So
what that creep saying when he won the Oscar? He said, "This is for all the mommies." What the fuck was that?
Okay, listen. I'm not judging these people by their personality or what they say. Their work speaks to me. I don't want them speaking to me. Oh, that guy. But you know, I think they're fine. Daniel,
I thought Kwan's speech was like,
Kwan is great. Shiner is a little odd, but it's fine. Whatever. He's a little freak. That's fine. I do like them. Marcus, you don't like them. We're at odds. We still have more to discuss because we got to talk about actress Oscar. Hey, Marcus, we got to talk about the Oscars. Okay,
we got to talk about the Oscars. I have said my piece. I feel like you've said your piece.
Yeah.
I don't think this win will hold up in 20 years. Maybe I'm wrong.
I want to say one more thing. Tom fucking Hooper.
Okay.
I've said this before. I know, maybe not on this series, but I've said it before in other podcasts. The 2010 year, that broke my brain in terms of Oscar seasons, because it solidified my thought that I still hold to this day. I have this love-hate thing with the Oscars. I love this game. I love movies. I love the ceremony for the most part. But sometimes they just, I just am so pissed off at their decision. A real dinger every 10 years. Yeah.
Okay. Or every decade.
So Tom Hooper is like, every feeling you have, I think now I had with Tom Hooper in 2010. I can't stand the guy. Him winning over. Let's look at that list. Look at this fucking list.
Yeah.
Well,
tell me it.
One of these assholes doesn't deserve to be here. But look at the 4 other people: So Tom Hooper won in 2010 over Darren Aronofsky for Black Swan, the Coens for True Grit, Fincher for The Social Network.
No.
And also David O. Russell for The Fighter. But Fincher for The Social Network, that to me is like the best directed movie of the last of the 2010s. And
absolutely.
Yeah.
Or I don't necessarily agree with that statement, but like of those 5, 100%, he should have won that. I think The King's Speech is a fine movie.
It's okay. Fine. It's okay. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah. I think Les Mis is great.
I'm a fan of Les Mis. I do like. I like Les Mis better than King's Speech.
Sure. Yeah, I do too. Absolutely, I do too.
Yeah.
Danish Girl. Man, that one's unfortunate.
I forgot that he did that.
Yeah, and he did Cats.
Boy. Oh boy.
I appreciate a big swing every now and then.
And that was the last thing he ever did. He's gone now.
It seems like it.
But for me, again, to close this book, 12 years ago, Hooper winning that year really threw me for a loop. I'm like, okay, maybe they're not going to get it right every single year. And to me, that win, it did not age that well. The end. All right. And also Inarritu winning 2 years in a row. Fuck that. All right. Actor in a leading role. This one was dicey in terms of balance.
Oh, yeah, baby.
Looking at the pool, here's a nice stat. For all the people who put in for all the people who filled out a ballot for the Oscar pool for Talk Film Society, this category was the most missed.
Wow.
I do not know what you put down because I'm scrolling through the other people's, but do you remember?
I put Butler.
I also put Butler. And baby, we were wrong.
We were wrong.
Brendan Fraser won for The Whale. Marcus, your thoughts?
This one, I still retain this. Colin Farrell was my number one choice.
Yeah.
But my number 2 and 3 are Brendan Fraser and Austin Butler, not necessarily in that order. They could swap around forever if they'd like. Colin Farrell is my number 1 though, and like the other 2 are very closely behind. I'm sure if I saw After Sun, Paul Mescal, potentially he's number 1. But yeah, I am not upset about this at all. I think it's cool. I think it's fun. Brendan Fraser gave a great speech. I liked him in the movie. I think he gave an amazing performance in The Whale. So like, I'm not upset about this one bit, even if like I would have personally given it to Colin Farrell.
I feel almost the same way, except for the fact I don't like The Whale at all as a movie. But I do like Brendan Fraser in it, and I'm happy that he won an award. And yeah, my pick of Butler was more of like, it felt like an Oscar pick. It felt like they're gonna give a biopic an award for acting. Of course they are, because they always do, but they didn't.
Renee Zellweger for Judy.
Yeah.
That fucking god-awful piece of shit movie.
Yeah, which I saw and reviewed, I think, for the site. I barely remember that.
Ugh.
Rami Malek for Bohemian Rhapsody.
Bohemian Rhapsody, yeah.
Yeah, so there's a trend, and it felt like, and I like Butler a lot more than those people, and I think it made sense to me. But hey, we both picked Butler. We both are wrong.
And this one's actually a good movie. Bohemian Rhapsody, bad movie. Judy, bad movie. Mm-hmm. This one, good movie.
In Marcus's
couldn't
opinion.
Get it done.
Yeah. Oh wait, no, Elvis. No,
in Marcus's opinion.
I'm sorry, I misunderstood.
Excuse me.
I thought you were talking about The Whale.
No, I'm not. In Marcus's opinion, good movie, but like, I get it. I'm not going to win anybody over by saying that. But I might even lose a few people. That's okay.
Elvis, though, we can agree on. We both can agree on record. Elvis, good movie. Good movie. Better than Judy.
It slaps. It fucks. It bangs.
Yeah,
it's a banger.
It got 0 Oscars. Jesus Christ. All right. Best lead actress. So Michelle Yeoh won. Controversial take. My favorite win of the evening. I slapped my big fat thigh when she won. I didn't.
Hot dog, you said.
Hot dog fingers, I said. Michelle Yeoh won. Marcus, I see on your ballot you put down Cate Blanchett. You thought she was going to win. I put down Yeoh. Of course, this one was a tough one because I thought, yeah, it was Yeoh or Blanchett. Either one was going to win. I basically flipped the coin, went with Yeoh. Like every prediction I looked up, every research article I read was like, yeah, it's either Blanchett or Yeoh. There's like no real like front runner.
Yeoh, she got the juice at the last minute.
Yeah, she got the little push. So I that's why I went with Yeoh. I felt that little push I think helped. Blanchett though, if Blanchett had won, it would have been not a bad thing. I do love Blanchett and Tar. But hey, she's got one already. She's got two already. Come on.
Two.
I learned that after reading Michelle Yeoh's Instagram. Blanchett has two already. So let Yeoh have one. Great speech. Another great speech. Oh yeah, and Brendan Fraser's speech was also heartfelt. I mean, yeah. So all these speeches.
I loved how much how excited he was for the makeup people.
Yes.
Like how he clearly works so closely with them and isn't like an asshole about it and abandons them.
Yeah.
He seemed so happy for the makeup people when they won.
Yeah. Well, I think the award for happiest person for other people was Stephanie Kwan. Stephanie
Hsu, yeah.
Who, like I was saying earlier, like she was crying after Ke Kwan won. Then she performed with David Byrne.
Yeah.
Then she went back to her seat and proceeded to cry for the next 4 hours because by the time Michelle Yeoh won, like she was like hand in her head, just crying, just bawling her eyes out.
Yeah,
I felt bad for her. Get her some water. Get some tissues. Like she's really going through it. Michelle Yeoh wins, and now the final category of the evening.
Well, hold on. I didn't get to say I'm happy about Michelle Yeoh winning.
Okay.
Too.
I mean, I
don't like that movie. I like the performances.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
All right. I think you went on record saying she's the best part about that movie, right?
She is the best part of that movie.
Okay.
Even with Ke Kwan in there, who I think is so good in that movie, I think Michelle Yeoh is the best part of that movie.
Yeah.
And she holds it all together, as hard as that is at times.
And I guess, well, I'll save this question.
And I'm happy for her.
I'll save this question for the end. But Best Picture, of course, Everything Everywhere All at Once. We both put that down. I will say, looking at the Talk Film Society Oscar pool, everybody except for one person put down Everything Everywhere for Best Picture. Somebody was brave enough to put down Top Gun Maverick as Best Picture for their pool. I'm not going to name that name, but I'll just say somebody. I admire the courage of this one person for putting Top Gun Maverick as Best Picture. But no, of course, Everything Everywhere All at Once. I realize now, I was going to ask you, Marcus, how does it feel going 14 weeks with Everything Everywhere basically cleaning up everybody?
It's the most awarded movie in history.
Yeah. Should we get into Marcus's factoids? Do you have those already?
Oh, yeah, my funky factoids.
Yeah.
Everything Everywhere All at Once, about a week before the Oscars, it became the most awarded film in history.
Uh-huh.
And it is also the film to win the most above-the-line awards in Oscars history, winning Director, Picture, 3 Actor, and Screenplay. So the only way somebody could beat it is if they won all 4 acting positions, or if it were somehow original and adapted.
I don't think that's possible.
This is the third, and finally, my final funky factoid for the day. It's the third film in history to win 3 acting Oscars. Third film in history behind Network and Streetcar Named Desire. But it's the first film in history to win 3 acting Oscars plus Best Picture.
Yeah. So and also a funky factoid I read was this is the this year's Oscar ceremony broke a lot of like records, or not records. A lot of firsts happened at this year's Oscars. One of them being that this was the first time one studio won like all the above the line awards. Wait, did you say that earlier?
No, I didn't say that one, but yeah, you're right. A24 won with Brendan Fraser.
Yeah, A24. Brendan Fraser and all the Everything Everywhere people, director, actors, all the actors, the Best Picture, and one screenplay. For the first time, one studio has done all that.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So A24. We're in the age of A24 now. This is it. When we look back 20 years, in 20 years, when we look back to now, we're going to say this is when the dawn of a new era began. This is the A24 era. Yeah,
I mean, yes. You think back 20 years ago, it was the Miramax Weinstein era.
Ah, yes.
And
look how well that turned out.
That doesn't feel as good to say.
No.
But the films themselves, pretty good. A24, I don't think that's going to happen. I'd be very surprised if something like that were to happen. I think their legacy is pretty firmly cemented well. I think they have a great history of 10 years of making good films.
Yeah, I mean, so far they have 2 Best Pictures under their belts. They have Moonlight and now Everything Everywhere. Anyway, the future. To wrap this up, Marcus thinks the future looks bleak. He thinks cinema is dying, much like Paul Schrader and Jeffrey Wells think cinema is dead.
And in the same way that they do too.
Yeah, in the exact
they're
same
mad that
way.
it's international, right? Yeah.
They're mad that not white people are winning. That's the problem. Okay.
Not the reason I don't like those 2 guys.
No, just to be clear, one of them is white. so
they get a pass.
Marcus is half happy that at least one white person is winning. We are kidding. Please don't cancel us. You know, we can't be canceled because we're not popular enough. Nobody knows who we are.
Exactly. You can't fucking cancel me.
Speaking of getting canceled, this show is about to end. It's about to.
It is, but
wrap up.
We do have one final trip to take.
Before we go to Discordville, to wrap up our picks, predictions, the Oscar pool, in counting the categories and making it more fun, I made the total number. You can win 69 because I put down 3 points for every category. There are 23 categories. Comes out to 69. Marcus, nice. Your final score out of 69, you got 11 right.
33.
So you got 33. You got 33 points. As for me, I won the pool, although I didn't bet money. I just won for the honor of it. I got 57 points.
Good so Lord.
Wow. I got 19 categories right. So all but 4 out of the 23.
Very impressive.
The lesson here is what, Marcus?
Cheat.
Yes.
Cheat to win.
Cheat to win. And really, that's why I did this series. Is just it was educational. Okay, this is how you win Oscar pools. Just follow my lead. Do an Oscar show for 14 weeks. Forcing a friend of yours to do it, and mostly talk about a movie you love and he hates. Do that, then spend like 30 minutes reading up on predictions from analysts, then make your picks. That's how you win an Oscar pool. All right, finally, this is it. The last time we're gonna do this for this show, maybe ever. I don't think we can fit this in any other show we do, Marcus, unless you want to ask people every week about Southland Tales.
What do you think about Southland Tales every week?
The Discord.
The Discord. talkfilmsociety.com/Discord. Come join the community. It is thriving. It is a fun place to come talk about movies, film. Does not have to be. It's not a pretentious place at all. It's a fun place, I think. We go in there for these last 14, 15 weeks. Marcelo we've been giving prompts to do fun stuff, to get people involved in this show. Maybe you've missed that boat, but we'll talk to you about other stuff all the time. We're talking about news every day. We got news, film news, Twitter news, all of it. Come discuss that juicy stuff with us, talkfilmsociety.com/Discord. But the final question that will ever be asked for this series, I kept it simple. I kept it so simple. I said, our last question of the year is here, everyone. Oscars 2023, thumbs up or thumbs down emojis. I did not give any more clarification. It's whatever that meant to you. And our first response, Noah Thompson says the ceremony was a thumbs down, but a good chunk of the awards get a thumbs up. Jay McMillan, thank you for keeping it simple. Thumbs up.
You follow the rules, yeah.
Nguyen Lee is 50-50 in answer, as in the movies I loved again, but holy cow, the gags and the hosting are just sleep-inducing.
Oh, wait, can we take a pause? I just want to point this out. I've said fuck Jimmy Kimmel a lot this episode. Not in those words, but just, tiptoeing around death threats. But I can't say I want to strangle the man, but I want to strangle the man. He brought out a donkey, saying it was the donkey from the Banshees of Inisherin. That is not the donkey from
That
Banshees
was not
of Inisherin.
Jenny.
No. I mean, why bring out a fake donkey, a real donkey, out on the Hollywood's loudest stage, and into like a crowd of like 1,000 people? Why terrify a donkey just for laughs? Why do this?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. And if you're gonna do it, why not fly the real donkey across?
That's my main point.
To get him here. Yeah.
Make that donkey suffer. Bring that donkey out, not a fake one.
Make Jenny and her sister that looks exactly like her, because they had 2 donkeys, I think. Mm-hmm. Make them go through this.
Yeah.
Okay. Manish Matur, friend of the site, he gives a thumbs up, and he says, I don't like playing off, but thank God no stupid skits or bits. None at all. They were all great.
No. I disagree with our friend Manish. There was at least one very stupid bit where Jimmy Kimmel
the talking to the crowd,
Jessica Chastain. The playing off, I agree. Yeah, that was terrible. All right.
Yeah. Not the Who's Tommy. Thumbs up overall, thanks to the wins and speeches. Though that middle stretch with Cocaine Bear, Malala Land, and All Quiet, sweeping technicals was a glimpse into hell.
I did like that Cocaine Bear thing. Yeah. Mostly because
I liked the
Elizabeth
Cocaine
Banks
Bear thing.
Yeah.
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 I missed Malala Land, him saying that. I saw him talking to her, but I guess I missed that specific joke.
Yeah, it was the last thing he said.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it was the last thing he said before he talked to Jessica Chastain. And it's one of, again, I said this earlier, one of the worst things I've ever said. No, one of the worst things I've ever heard somebody say ever.
One of the worst things
life.
You've ever written to be said by Jimmy.
I wrote that joke, by the way. I want to make that clear. I mailed that joke into Kimmel, and he said that.
It's like SNL in the old days where you faxed in jokes for they took that one. Sam Shaw first. I didn't watch the middle hour, so I don't feel qualified to answer. The Malala thing was the lowest point I saw, so that's not bad compared to recent years.
I don't know. That was the lowest point. Compared to other years? Again, maybe the worst thing that's ever happened to the Oscars. Malala Land. Maybe that's it.
And Cool Jima, they say they agree with Noah that the ceremony was a thumbs down, but a good chunk of the awards get a thumbs up, and that's it. That's it.
Yeah, that's it. All right, folks. Thank you. Thank you, Discord folks. It was great talking to you. I'm sure we'll find a way in the future to incorporate you into our future endeavors, but don't call us. We'll call you. All right. I think that about does it. We talked for an hour, at least. What's the runtime here? 2 hours and 30 minutes. Jesus Christ! I'm gonna cut this down.
Certainly above an hour. I'm so happy we did this because it's finally over. And Marcelo, you brought me up. I was feeling like, what a waste of fucking time. This sucked. I hated every second of this. But you know what? When I get brought back here, it's like, once again, I'm full. Just like the Oscars does me every year. I get fooled into thinking that I actually like it. So Marcelo, thank you for bringing that foolishness back out of me.
Yeah, but that again, I said I was going to say this at the end, so I'm saying it again. It's that love-hate thing. There's a lot to love about the Oscars. There's a lot to hate about it. But you know what? You know what's fun though? You know what's good? Talking to friends about it. And Marcus, that's what I did with you for the last 14 weeks.
Yeah.
We talked about movies, not only Oscar movies. I mean, that was the whole, thesis, right? Award season. But our favorites of the year, right? Some of our favorites made it into the Oscar race. Some of them didn't. Where's Crimes of the Future? Honestly, I will trade everything in just to have David Cronenberg go up there and accept the best picture for Crimes of the Future. I'll take that. You know what? Erase everything. Just have that happen.
I don't know why this is happening, but I'll take that too.
I'm just saying, sure. Not all of our favorite movies showed up. Some of them did. And I'm happy to talk about movies in any way with you, Marcus. So that's it. Any last words before we close the book on this series?
I can't believe it. I'm so excited to come back in 9 months. Just like we said in the last episode, the gestation period of one baby. I'll see you then, folks.
All right, have a nice night. Bye. We'll see you next time, folks. And until then, hey, I see you at the movies. No one ever say that. All right, bye.